So here's how it works. First thing that happens is you got to get the stuff to us, or we can come pick it up from you. We've worked with a couple of you in the past. Judy Kogan over here has actually been a customer of ours for quite a while with her clients, and so she knows us from when we were called I Sold It on eBay. We merged with the Easy Sale in March. And when it was just I Sold It, we had several stores located around the Metroplex, which we still have, and you had to bring your stuff to us. And that's okay, because a lot of clients like to have that personal relationship with somebody behind the counter. You know, we schmooze them, they schmooze us. We have some, great friends that we've made in the stores. The problem comes in when people have large items like furniture or exercise equipment, or they have just too much stuff to drag into the store, and that's where our free pickup service comes in. We have a fleet of 5 large trucks equipped with lift gates and big, strong guys, and they've got computers with cellular modem connections. They will come out to your client's home. Ideally, you'll be there to help, because a lot of times, as we found with Judy's clients, the clients need a little bit of prompting to know what it's okay to go ahead and get away, or give away, get rid of. We'll come out and within an appointed time, and they will research all the items, tell you what's sellable, what's not, and then they'll take it away to our distribution facility in Arlington. And the next thing that happens in a few weeks is the client gets a check. Now what happens in between is we do all the work, right? So I'm forgetting to hit my button here, but you see there the in-store drop-off and pickup, and then once we have the item, we're going to take professional photographs of it. We can put as many as 25 photographs into a listing if it's needed. Usually most items only need a few. We do a lot of research on the item to figure out what we need to say about it. How are we going to describe it accurately so the buyer knows what they're getting, and how do we describe it in the title so that people who are looking for that type of item will find it. And that in itself is kind of an art. We answer all those questions that come in from people during the listing, and then once the listing has ended and we have a buyer, we take care of collecting the payment. We will package and ship the item, and then once the buyer has it, we send your client a check. So very, very simple. It really is a whole turnkey process. Now, some of the things that we find that sell really well, and I will tell you in the next slide is the stuff that doesn't sell really well, so we're going to talk about that too. It's a little hard to say this stuff always sells or this stuff always does not sell. Okay, so I want to put that word of caution out there. The great thing is our expertise on that is free. Okay, so anytime that you're not sure if this is a valuable item or not, let us take a look at it. Very simple. But the categories of things that we find sell pretty well usually. Antiques and collectibles, and you'll see in the video piece that I'll show in a moment, that's a lot of what this particular customer had. Appliances and furniture, refrigerators, washers, dryers, especially better quality ones, furniture, especially antique or better brands. If it is Ethan Allen or something like that, it's going to typically sell really well. Cameras, electronics, designer apparel and accessories. Designer handbags are one of our biggest selling items. You may have somebody who's cleaning out their closet. They've got a bunch of handbags that they're not using anymore, but they're not going to give them to charity. It's too nice. They can actually recover some of that money and buy new handbags. Electronics, business phones, cellular phones, event tickets. That's probably not something you're going to see sitting around the house, but when somebody has tickets to an event that they can't go to, eBay is a great way to get rid of it. Certain kinds of housewares, musical instruments. We do a lot of musical instruments hold their value really well. People have instruments that their kids, Mom, I've got to have the top of the line trombone, trumpet, drum set, whatever. And of course, they lose interest in it when you do with it. They actually hold their value very well. Sporting goods, we do a lot of bicycles. We're coming into ski season, things like that. Golf clubs are a huge seller. And vehicle parts. If you've got somebody who works on their car, their motorcycle, they do customization, they've got extra sets of wheels or tires in their garage. Those are all great sellers on eBay. So basically, we can sell almost anything as long as we'll meet 2 criteria. Okay? Number one, it has to be legal for sale on eBay. And there are a few things that aren't. One of the big categories that we run into is firearms. eBay does not allow any kind of firearms to be sold, even if it's been rendered inoperative and it's an antique or collectible. They just say no. We have some other outlets that we can use if we need to, but not on eBay. There are a few other categories like that. You know, some of them would be pretty obvious. No body parts. We've had some people who want to sell their kids, and you know, just not able to do that. Husbands, yeah, we get that request too sometimes. The other requirement is we need to believe that we can sell the item for at least $50 on eBay. And the reason we have that $50 threshold is what we make on that is about enough to cover our costs. So if something sells for $20, by the time eBay gets their fees and we get our fee, your client's not happy, we haven't made any money, it's kind of not worth it for anybody. So $50 is that threshold. Now how do you know if it's $50 or not? Well, I'm going to show you on the next slide some things that will tell you it probably isn't 50, but if in doubt, let us take a look at it. And as, was there a question?
Per item?
Per item. Per item, right. Now, occasionally we can put things together in lots, like the vacuum tubes would be an example. We sold those, because they were related items, we sold those as one big lot. One tube would be almost $50 threshold. That's a good question. So as long as it'll hit at least $50, and again, if in doubt, ask. If you work with us on a couple of pickups or meetings in the store, you'll start to get an idea of what sells well and what won't, and that'll help you kind of pre-screen some of this stuff with your clients. Okay, and as promised, the things that don't sell, the 7 deadly sins. I think there's only 6, but number 1, collectibles that were originally mass marketed as collectibles. And you've seen these, right? Beanie Babies, Precious Moments, a lot of stuff by Franklin Mint, but not everything. There is some good Franklin Mint stuff out there, but you know, we have people come in who they bought every little silver plate that the Franklin Mint issued in a series over several years, and they're worth nothing, okay? Because everybody who wanted it already bought it from Franklin Mint. There is no resale demand, okay? Now, again, I'm always real hesitant to say, you know, things that were sold as collectibles, don't look at, because there's always exceptions. But in general, if it says, you know, collector's edition, Hallmark keepsake ornaments, you know, 34 in a series of 96, most of those probably are not worth much as collectibles. Second category of things that don't sell real well are what I would call non-brand name or generic items. Remember I said eBay has 100 million items on it at any one time, okay? So for somebody to find something, it's really tough. If you type in round table, you're going to get everything from round tables to stuff about King Arthur, and I mean, you name it, okay? If you're looking for a specific brand and model, it's a whole lot easier. I'm looking for an Ethan Allen round cocktail table, and that's why we're so careful with our keywords. When there's really nothing we can say about an item other than it's a round wooden table, it's pretty tough for people to find it. So, especially in the furniture category, but really in any category, if it's just kind of a no-brand, low-quality item, probably going to be tough to sell. Related to that would be items that are handmade and not antique. Okay, so we're not talking here about, you know, antique, real old paintings or really anything, but people say, you know, my mom painted this picture, or I have a picture that I bought at the Cottonwood Art Festival. Who's the artist? I don't know, but it looked really nice over my couch. People don't buy on eBay that way. They don't buy on eBay like an art gallery. They're looking for art by specific artists, okay? So art typically won't sell very well. You know, handmade, non-antique items typically won't sell very well. Outdated technology, and this is a fast-changing area, but things like vinyl records, unless they have specific collectible value, and most of them don't, film cameras, with a few exceptions, high-end Nikons and, you know, professional cameras still, but, you know, the typical consumer-type stuff really doesn't have enough value anymore. The cameras just changed in the last 4 years. We used to be able to sell film cameras. Other things in that category, computers that can't run a modern operating system, analog TVs, that just happened in the last year with the switch to digital. The old tube TVs, no market for them.